Okay, this is about self-responsibility in the black family. The first thing I want to say is I'm not talking about all black fathers. We all know there's some good black fathers out there. I'm a black father myself, and I know I've done a good job as a father. This video is addressing the men who are not being fathers to their kids, who are going around here getting different women pregnant and are not being fathers to those kids. This is what this video is addressing. More than 60% of black kids in America are being raised without a father. And I'm sick and tired of a lot of people making excuses for a lot of these men who are not being fathers to their kids. There's a male cousin of mine who has kids with 6 different women. He has kids with 6 different women. And at the time that he got all these women pregnant, he bragged about how he's a player and he's a ladies' man. But as soon as all these women started filing for child support, that's when he started blaming the women and blaming the system and blaming the white man. I just think a lot of men out here who are doing this are completely ignorant. Any man that gets 6 different women pregnant, you can't blame anybody but yourself. You can't blame the women. You can't blame the white man. You can't blame the system. If you go out here and you get 6 different women pregnant, the only person you can blame is yourself. And a lot of these ignorant fools out here who go out here and get 6 and 7 different women pregnant and are not being fathers to any of those kids, they actually have the nerve to sit here and blame the women and blame everybody but themselves instead of taking responsibility for their own actions. It's just completely ignorant. I think we need to stop making excuses for bad behavior. And I think that's the biggest problem. A lot of black people want to make excuses for bad behavior. We need to step up to the plate and teach our young black males to do better. To do better for their kids and to raise their kids to be responsible men. That's what I'm doing as a black father, and that's what I encourage other black men to do as black fathers. Now, I don't personally think this is all the black man's fault. I think some of these women out here make bad decisions as far as the type of men they choose to have kids with. I mean, you got some of these women out here, they knew this man wasn't about shit when they met him, but they'll still lay down and have a baby with him. That's why I don't personally think it's all the man's fault. A lot of people look at, 60% of black kids being raised without a father, and they want to blame everything on the man. I don't necessarily think it's all the man's fault. I think some of these women share some of the blame. When some of these women will go out here and just have a baby with any old man without looking at what type of man this man was going to provide for you. What type of education does he have? Does he have a job? And they don't really assess the type of man they're getting involved with. If you come across a man that's never had a job and he tells you he has kids with 6 and 7 other women, why would you lay down and have a baby with this man? Why would any woman in their right mind lay down and have a baby with a man like this? That's just completely ignorant. That's why I think some of the women share some of the blame when you look at this fatherless rate in these black households. I think this is a serious problem that needs to be addressed in the black community. I think we need to stop ignoring this problem in our black community. I think the only way we're going to stop this problem, we need to address the problem and come up with solutions in order to stop the problem. We need to stop trying to make excuses for bad behavior. And I don't blame the men or the women. I think the blame goes both ways. Because I think some of these women are making bad decisions in the type of men they're having kids with, but at the same time, it's a lot of men out here that will go out here and get 6 and 7 different women pregnant and don't even bother to see any of those kids or be fathers to any of those kids. So I think the blame goes both ways. It's not just the man's fault, it's not just the women's fault. Every time somebody makes a video about this topic, they'll either blame one side or the other. You got a lot of black women bashing videos on YouTube where they'll blame everything on the women. You can't really blame everything on the women. I just think that's ignorant. And you can't really blame everything on the men either. I think it's both ways. I think both men and women are to blame for our kids being raised in a full family household, in broken homes. I think the blame goes both ways. And I think I think both black men and black women need to take responsibility for bettering our black families and putting black families back together. And I think we need to stop making excuses for bad behavior. There's a lot of black people, every time a black person does something wrong, they want to sit back and make excuses for bad behavior. If a man gets 6 and 7 different women pregnant and chooses to not be a father to any of those kids, that's his fault. He can't blame the woman. He can't blame the system. He can't blame the white man. The only person he can blame is himself. And a lot of these ignorant fools who want to sit back and make excuses for these ignorant fools need to stop. We need to take responsibility for our own actions. If somebody does something wrong, they should take responsibility for their own actions. And a lot of these women need to start making better choices in the type of men they have kids with. If you meet a man that's never had a job and he tells you he has kids with all these other women, why would you have a baby with a man like that? That's why I think the blame goes both ways. I think women are just as much to blame as the men. And I think we need to take responsibility and raise our kids better. And I think that's the only way we're going to improve our black families in the black community.